Okay, this is the engine compartment of our first generation Bronco, a vehicle that everybody wants at this point in time. Ford's going to come out with a new one, but we got the original. This thing is really enhanced in a lot of different ways. It has a suspension package on it. We'll show you that around here, but right now we'll concentrate on the engine compartment. I get kind of sidetracked sometimes. It has the original equipment radiator that Ford released with these vehicles. It does have a flex fan on it, 7-blade. Has an overflow reservoir for the radiator itself. They did not come with that, but this guy does have it. Has a set of aftermarket horns on it, but there are 2 of those. It has the original type washer bottle that Ford released with the vehicle. It has a brand new dual-stage master cylinder put on it and vacuum booster for it. So everything is new as far as the brake system goes. The engine itself is the high point of this engine compartment. This thing is not a 302 two-barrel. It's a 351. It is a Windsor yet. It's not a Cleveland. It's a 351 Windsor. Aluminum intake on it. A Summit carburetor, which uses all the Hawley externals and is kind of stacked together more like a Carter AFB Edelbrock carburetor, all aluminum. It has a low restriction air cleaner on it. It has a set of Edelbrock aluminum valve pan covers on it. Has a new HEI distributor in it, a MSD actually system, brand spanking new, billet distributor. New aluminum water pump on it, all new associated hoses with it. The heat is still hooked up to the passenger compartment. It has power steering, and I already mentioned it did have power brakes. It has a chrome alternator hiding down underneath there, but it does have an alternator on it. And guess what? It has a serpentine belt system also instead of the conventional pulleys that these cars were released with. It has a set of long tube headers on it. I'm going to call them 1.5 inch. High silicone plug wires. Pretty nice setup underneath the hood here. Everything is nice and clean. There's no indication of leakage whatsoever as far as oil or any other fluids. Radiator intake, valve pan covers, everything is absolutely leak-free. Front of the engine the same way. No leaks whatsoever on the water pump area. MSD box up on the passenger side. Fender well, new battery in it. So many things here. The inner fenders on this thing are original. They have been painted black. They're still painted red underneath. You can still see the original red paint underneath them. The core support, front end piece of this thing has absolutely not been disturbed in any way. So it's never suffered any trauma, no accidents through the years. Has a transmission cooler in the front of it also, an auxiliary tranny cooler for this guy. I don't see anything that's out of place on this engine compartment. It's certainly a nice step up from a 302 two-barrel to a 351 4-barrel with headers and aluminum intake. I believe it's an Edelbrock intake manifold. Engine is nice and fresh. You can see the gaskets are fresh on it. They've just been, this motor's been out and completely freshened up. Nicely painted. I don't see anything in this engine that doesn't indicate that it's a brand new, fresh rebuild. And again, 351 Windsor, so this guy's going to make some serious horsepower, push this thing along as fast as you want to go in it, or pull whatever you want to pull with it. Nice engine compartment. We're going to go around the rest of it and show you what we can on that. Here at Hanksters in Daytona Beach, Florida, and about a week ago, not even I don't think, we did another Bronco that we had, a creamy tan one. I think it lasted about 2 days. So this is another Bronco that we have to present to you. The other one was a hard top. This guy is a soft top, but it's kind of a neater build because it has some bigger wheels and tires, a little more dramatic look to it, and it has 351 Windsor engine in it as opposed to a 302. So we're going to go over it and show you everything we can on it. The paint on this thing is really, really nice. It's on a Bronco, and it looks like more something that belongs on a Roadrunner or a Camaro or a Fairlane or Mustang or something, but it's really nice, lustrous, nice deep paint on it. Someone's put a lot of time and effort to paint this vehicle as they did. The grille also is painted red to match the rest of the vehicle. The Headlight bezels are nice and shiny chrome, just the way you'd expect them to be. The parking lights, amber lenses, just nice and bright and clear. The rubber enclosures behind them are nice and fresh too. If you look at the hood, I'm going to jump around here a little bit, but if you look at the hood, it has a nice gap and a really nice fit to it. Now, most of these guys don't have much of a fit to them as far as hood and fender. This one does, however. I don't know why it does fit so well, but it does. Even your front bumper or front end pieces, the transition over to the grill, real nice fitment. See, fender to them, just really nice. Bumper obviously is chrome in the front, and it's nice and linear. There's no indication that it's out in any way. It looks like it's positioned as straight and nice as you could ever hope to find one. The chrome on it's all really nice. There's no deteriorated areas on top of it, no marks in the front from anything bumping into it. It does have two bumperettes on it also. Nice front end on this vehicle, and the paint is really in great condition. I don't want to call it show quality paint, but it's certainly above a driver quality finish on this vehicle. Really nice looking first gen Bronco. We're going to go down the side, see if we can find anything for you there, because there's certainly nothing out of line on the front end of this. Okay, driver's side of our first generation Bronco. Really, again, I'm going to emphasize this again, really nice paint on this guy. A nice lustrous finish, no imperfections, no dents whatsoever. It has a set of aftermarket fender flares because it needs them. 33 by 1250 15s on this guy. Got some serious rubber, which by the way is brand new yet. It still has a little knobbies on it there. We added this stripe to it, give it a little bit more of a breakup. It looked like too much. It looked like a big tomato without something breaking it up. So we put this stripe on it, this little strobe stripe. Add a little bit of a different flair to it. The wipers are the correct style wiper arms and blades on this guy. It has a smoked windshield in it, tinted windshield, but it doesn't have the sunshade fade to it. And where a lot of these are deteriorating around your rubbers around the windshield and around this hinge area, this one is not. You can see that there's no deterioration, no rust whatsoever present anywhere on this front end of this vehicle. This windshield does, if you take the top down, I don't know if you'd ever want to, but you can actually take this windshield and fold it forward. That's why it is hinged here. In case you want to play Safari, I guess that's what it's there for. Trim around the wing area, just as nice as can be. This has usually had some deterioration. This one does not. Again, it looks like tinted glass on the side here too. Of course, the top, we can't see it because of the huge tires that are on it, but the top is a brand new convertible top with the smoked plastic windows in the side of it. Side windows themselves, really nice. You can see the beading that goes around on the stainless whiskers wipes, top and bottom. Real nice fitment of them. It has actually a set of the correct Ford style for that era mirrors that would have been on this vehicle whenever it was new. The chrome on them is just exemplary. Chrome on the door handle the same way. There's no deterioration whatsoever, and absolutely none. And door fitment, this is another point. You know, usually these things are horrible fit-wise, and look at the fit on this door, clean down to the rocker panel to the I'm going to call it a quarter panel. I don't know what they are actually called on trucks, but I'm going to call it a quarter panel. And the front fender is just a nice fitment. It has dual tanks in it. Front and back. Of course, this one's positioned underneath the driver's floor here. That one's transverse across the back. Again, the fender flare in the back. These are held on by, looks like stainless screws or rivets. I'm not even sure what they are. Again, the little nubby still on the tires. Brand spanking new set of sneakers on this guy. Marker light in the back. There's no deterioration of the molding that goes around it, the bezel that goes around it. Nice and fresh. The side of this thing is just straight as an arrow. I mean, literally straight as an arrow down the side of it. You can't ask for a nicer, more solid, more lined up first generation Bronco. Again, it has 33 by 1250 15 radials on it. White leather. Polished aluminum wheels, lockout hubs in the front. It's just a great setup. Really nice looking beachcomber here, or whatever you want to use it for. We'll go out back, see if we can find something for you there. Okay, rear section of our little first generation Bronco. Look at this. There's no fogginess whatsoever. It is smoked plastic windows side and back on this top. And again, the top is a brand spanking new top, and everything fits as nice and tight and flush as you'd ever hope to have it fit. Look at the tailgate on this. I can't believe the fitment of everything on this vehicle. Look at this. And the gaps on it the same way. Look at this. I don't know what this is. We've got to figure out why that's swinging. It's supposed to be on a spring and held tight. But custom bumper in the back with a Class 3 hitch. It's a kind of a neat bumper. It's a tubular bumper. It does have ends welded onto it. Pretty stout looking piece of equipment. I mean, it's something that does have a Class 3 hitch on it, and the way it's attached to the rear bumper, there's no reason to believe that this thing wouldn't tow whatever you want it to. Nice strong tube bumper in the back. Ford designation on the back part. The paint on this tailgate or back door, whatever it is just as nice as you'd ever hope to find. And I think the striping really helped break this thing up. But it is tape. If you don't like it, take it off. So, taillight bezels. Both sides absolutely brand new. No deterioration. Both lenses are nice and shiny and clear, just the way you'd hope that they would be anyway, and they are. So we got one more side, passenger side, and then you got yourself a really great looking bright red first generation Bronco. Okay, here, passenger side, our last side of our first gen Bronco. This paint is really nice on this vehicle. I really like the finish, and look at the fitment of this. The quarter panel to this tail section, just as nice as you'd ever hope to find. No deterioration on this bezel around the side marker light. And I didn't point out on the other side, but I'm going to point it out here. Look how nicely this top fits to the body of the vehicle, just as fresh and nice as you'd ever hope to have it fit. Again, our fender flare to help cover some of these huge tires up. Look at this door again. This is absolutely amazing that we have a first generation Bronco with that kind of fitment on these doors. And the hood, by the way, and the tailgate. Down to the rocker panel, chrome again on the door handle, brand new. White whiskers up around the window enclosure, just as fresh and nice as you hope to find. Right hand mirror, that matches the left hand mirror. Got to have this guy. That's a good addition to any vehicle. Geez. To the rocker panel, to the front fender, and the paint on this thing's absolutely beautiful. Really smooth. Again, look at this, how the fender fits up to the hood. You just don't find this on first generation Broncos. This thing has a really nice fit. You know what? We've been over this whole vehicle and I still haven't found a stone chip or a ding in it either. There's no stone chips, no scuffs, absolutely nothing. Our last fender flare, really heavy duty, whatever those are. They're a polyurethane type of a material, or a plastic rubber material, but really stout. They're not going to crack on you or break or anything, but really nice addition. It adds a lot of pop to this thing. You just watched us go around this entire vehicle. Devin and I just walked around it and tried to pick out everything that we could, which is basically nothing. Even the fitment of this, again, the front fender to this front piece. Look at this. The whole vehicle's like that. It's first generation Bronco. This guy has a brand new set of 33-inch sneakers on it. Has a 351 4-barrel with headers Windsor engine in it. This is making some serious horsepower. I'm sure it's in excess of 300 somewhere. So you know that this thing's going to be able to tug anything you want or pull itself along as fast as you want it to. Does have four-wheel drive, does have lockout hubs. It's got all the gas shocks underneath it, 4 in the front, 2 in the back. A lift kit to go along with it, a nice interior, which we already did. No, we didn't do the interior yet. We have to do that yet. Fantastic vehicle. We didn't find anything negative so far on it. And we did do a drive on it already. We kind of did this video backwards, but we did do a drive, and it runs exemplary. There's not a single thing that you could pick out on this vehicle. It's a really nice vehicle. Take a look at it. Hangsters, Daytona Beach. And come in person to take a look at it. We put these videos up for you, and we put a lot of, Devin puts about 100 still photos for you to look at, but we still prefer you to come and look at them in person. But if you can't, that's why we're doing this. Take a look at it. Okay, this is the interior of our first generation Bronco. Steering wheel, no cracks, separations whatsoever. Kind of a basic steering wheel, but again, it's in excellent condition, no cracks whatsoever. The Prindle gear selector, nice and clean. The chrome on it's nice and fresh. Door panels are nice and clean. Molded armrests the way they should be. All the chrome around your windows, including your door actuators and your window cranks, all as fresh as can be. It has a black seat in the back. It has black seats in the front. It has a really nice roll bar system in it. It has a great looking roll bar that behind the seats, and then it goes clean to the back of the vehicle. So you got a nice stout piece of safety equipment here. The top, again, is absolutely brand new. It's just been put on. It has seat belts in the front. It does not have, I don't believe it has seat belts in the rear. I don't see them. It has a loop pile carpeting in it. It's a nice Bronco. Jeez. The windshield wipers obviously are not covered up. I think it has to do with the fact that it's a convertible, because I think that enclosure goes up and fits to the hardtop whenever you put that plastic enclosure on. So they function as they should, they just don't have a cover. The dashboard's nice and clean. The gauges are all nice and legible and clean. The the radio does work. Devin had it working for us when we drove the vehicle. Our four-wheel drive selector is still nice and intact the way it should be. Glove compartment on the right-hand side. This is a nice straight vehicle. The interior's nice. The seats are nicely padded. Everything is just as crisp and clean as you would ever hope to find anywhere on any vehicle. Actually, there's even upholstery and side panels on the back section of this for the passenger compartment, including carpeting the whole way to the rear of the vehicle, clean back to the tailgate. It has black carpeting the same way throughout the entire vehicle. So it's a really nice first generation Bronco. I mean, someone's done a very exemplary job of putting this thing to the highest degree of restoration that they possibly could. It's available here at Hangsters. If you're in the market for a first-gen Bronco, which apparently everyone is, because they don't last more than a week or so, they're gone. And this is the second one we're doing in the last 2 weeks. The first one didn't last a week. So take a look at it. It's here at Hangsters in Daytona Beach, Florida. Okay, we good to go? All right, we are in our first-generation Bronco. This guy happens to be a convertible, red, black. Really nice looking rig. It's got a 351 Windsor in it, so it's definitely got a little more smoke than a standard old two-barrel 302 that these guys came with. It has a steering wheel that isn't broken up yet. We're just going to show that in the interior, but horn that is working. The horn does work. It has a wiper that works. Has turn signals that are not functioning on the dash. It doesn't mean they're not working outside. It means they're not functioning on the dash. But here's a neat little quirk. You don't know if you're going to have your turn signals on, but you can tell when you put your brake lights on. So the brake lights work in the turn signal indicators for some reason. We might have to check that. Might have to address that problem. Radio, we don't usually check radios, but this one looks pretty fancy.
People are calling in for
radio works.
Or typing, sending them through the.
How about that?
Through W.
I don't know how you turn them off, but
We pray for past encouragement.
we have a trio of gauges here. We have oil pressure showing us about 55 pounds of oil pressure, 14 volts. It is charging, and a temperature gauge that is coming up. It's up to about, I don't know, 140, 150 degrees right now. We just started up. It's about what it is out here right now in Florida too, about 140, 150, somewhere in there. So we're ambient temperature. I love those lights that come on whenever you put the brakes on. It's a nice touch. See how this guy runs. Tell you what, for a set of big tires and wheels on this thing, it handles surprisingly well. Let me see if I can get it going down the road straight here. Okay, there it is, no hands on the wheel, and it's going straight as an arrow. Still haven't touched it. I have to turn a little bit up. Nice resolution to it though. When you turn this thing just a little bit, it responds. So the steering's nice and tight on it. Let's see stopping at no hands. Let's see how that works. That's it, no hands. Stop straight as an arrow. Nice sound to it. It shifts nice and clean and foot crisp. There's no shakes or shimmies. The speedometer is working as it should. You see, we're up to, I'm going to say it's not correct because we're showing 35 mile an hour. We're probably going more like 50 because of these tires. Neglected to mention, the fuel gauge does function. It shows a quarter of a tank, which is about normal for us. And the gauges are working. It's up to 190 degrees. Like I said, it is about 140 out here right now, so the car's running nice and clean and cool the way it should. I'm going to turn this guy around and give it a little shot for you and see how it pulls. I can tell you already, this is no standard horsepower 2-valve 302 Bronco. This thing's definitely got some torque to it. Second gear. I didn't want to lay into it in low gear, but that was second gear, a little bit of a shot, and it shifted nice into high gear. Pulls just like it should. It's a nice, strong running first generation Bronco. If somebody's in the market for a sharp looking Bronco, this is it, especially with this black convertible top, black interior, black carpeting in it too. And it goes down the road straight as an arrow. There's no issues with the bigger tires and wheels and everything on it. It drives down the road straight as can be. Brakes work real well. I did try them. You saw no hands, and it shifts. Everything's good on this vehicle. I don't see anything or feel anything out of place, other than some goofy lights that obviously we're going to have to address for you. I don't think you really care that your brake lights are coming on. I think you already know that. Turn signals would be nice to know if they're on though, and it doesn't have them functioning, so definitely have to get that fixed for you. But other than that, I think that is it. There is nothing else. All your gauges work the way they should. Auxiliary gauges are showing you nice temperature and oil pressure and everything, and the car runs and drives and shifts and handles just like you'd hope it to. It's a nice Bronco, and it's going to be real nominally priced too. This is a nice first gen Bronco, and if you look at the prices of these things on the internet, you're going to get a nosebleed when you see some of these things doing. And we actually did have one that we just sold for $78,000, so you know, this is not going to be anywhere near that obviously, but take a look at your Hankster site in Daytona Beach, because this is really a nice little bronchitis. This thing's nice. Well, this is the underside of our bright red first generation Bronco. This one happens to be a convertible. You can't see that from down here, so we're going to point out everything we can underneath it right now. The steering has a shock dampener on it, the way it would be for these big 33-inch tires that are on it. 33, 12, 50, 15s, all four of them. Brand new set of sneakers on this guy. Might as well mention that right now. The brake calipers are new. All the associated hardware is new. The rotors themselves are nice and fat, real nice and thick. Backing plates are just as fresh and clean as could possibly be. Quad shocks in the front, new, and they are gas shock. A heavy-duty system on it. It does have a lift kit in it. Set of, I don't know whose manufacturer they are, but they do appear to be a longer set of springs on the front of it. The frame in the vehicle is absolutely undisrupted. There's no marks whatsoever on it. It still has a little bit of the original factory undercoating that Ford splashed on these guys whenever they produced them new. You can see everything on this is just as fresh and clean as can possibly be. Framework, which is a full perimeter frame, front to back. And it's a box frame too, not just a C-channel, it's a complete box frame. The gas tank in the side here, the auxiliary tank, is plastic. It still retains its skid plate the way it was from Ford. The floor pans, you can't see them up above here, but the ones you can on the passenger side are totally undisrupted. The structural supports are just nice and fresh and clean the way they should be. They transition up over the floor pans in the vehicle. And again, you can't see what's above the tank, but I'm sure that it's the same quality of what we're looking at on this end. The rear differential has no leaks whatsoever. It is a heavy-duty rear differential. New U-joint here, new U-joint there. The yoke also has your yoke joint is also new with U-joint in it. Bell housing area, no leaks whatsoever, absolutely none. Engine, no leaks. And you can see the engine has been out and freshened up. It is a 351 in this guy instead of a 302, by the way. So it's definitely got a little bit more snot to it than a standard little first generation Bronco would. Has a set of equal length headers on it. The tube size, I'm going to call it inch and a half. They are a smaller tube design. Goes into a 3-inch collector, and I'm going to call these 2-inch primary pipes that go off in the collector system. Transmission cooling lines, metal, still going forward to the original equipment style radiator that's on this vehicle. Steering box also has no leaks whatsoever to it. I don't see anything at all on the front end of this vehicle. Transmission, it's a C4 tranny. There's no leaks whatsoever on it, or the, I can't see the tail shaft where it goes into the transfer case, but there's no leaks on the transfer case either. So, drive shaft assembly, all new U-joints, no leaks whatsoever in the entire drive line to this point. We'll see from here on in a minute, but everything is totally undisrupted and leak-free. Rocker panels, you can see where the floorboards transition onto the rocker panels. Pinch welds are still evident, so that's all original. No deterioration whatsoever. The front skirting coming out of the fender wells in the front, they're real nice. There's no jack marks or bends or deviations on them whatsoever. Absolutely none. Oh. Parking brake, still original, hooked up and functional. The brake lines are the original brake lines going back toward the rear of the vehicle, obviously. Floor pans in the rear of this, the same as they are in the front. There's absolutely no dents, deviations, no deterioration at all. There's no rust ever on them, evident, no blisters. It's just the way it was when it was new. You can see where the pans go on to the inner fender panels in the back. The pinch wells are still all there and evident. Let's see, spring shackles in the front are nice and clean. There's no deterioration, no crap or anything stuck in them where they usually start to deteriorate. Nice curvature to the springs on this guy. It has another set of heavy duty, really thick heavy duty air shock, well not air shock, gas shocks in the back to match the 4 that we have up front. You know, I'm not sure. This actually doesn't look like aluminized. It almost looks like stainless steel. And it does have 2 flow master mufflers. It does have an entire complete dual exhaust system on it. And it has a nice configuration where the tailpipes come out of the mufflers and go back and exit sideways off of each side of the vehicle. Everything looks like it clears the way it should. 9-inch heavy-duty Ford rear in this guy. Again, the new U-joint here and new U-joints up there too. So the entire assembly has all new U-joints in it. Discs in the front, drums in the rear. Again, a huge set of brand spanking new sneakers on this guy. I don't see anything at all. I mean, everything on this thing is just as fresh and clean. Gas tank, the skid plate in the back is still intact, and Tank itself doesn't have any dents or anything on it. The original strapping is still intact, and it is the original tank on this thing. So it is a rust-free vehicle. Shackles for the springs in the back, the same as they were in the front here, nice and clean. There's no crap laying in them, or you can see no deterioration from anything being in them through the years. The inner fender panels where they drop down the quarters in the back, or I don't know, it's truck, so I guess it's side panels, but they still have their original skirting that comes down. There's no deterioration at all in this thing. There's absolutely no rust. None. I don't know what else to say. I mean, this thing is just as fresh and clean a first generation Bronco as you could ever hope to find. Exhaust is good, no leaks on the drive line. Absolutely no deterioration or an indication that it has ever been addressed, any type of rust or perforation of any sort on this vehicle. It's just as fresh and clean as it was when it was produced new by Ford. It's a nice Bronco. This one has a soft top. We just had one with a hard top and sold it. We have this one, and we haven't done a video on the other one yet, but we have one in a little pickup truck too. So that one's going to be available. But this guy is as nice a little convertible Bronco as you will ever find. And it's got a 351 in it, so it's got a bigger hammer in it than it came with also. Take a look at it. It's here at Hanksters.